you're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Coffee with Graeme is, of course, brought to you by AETI, Case Financial Group, Evolve Green, Pilot Mount Hockey Academy, and Toby Hockey. In today's edition of Coffee with Graeme, 3 people will be joining the show, 3 guests in total. Starting off today's edition of the show, Cody Wall is going to be joining Off the Wall with Cody to break down the past weekend of games that we saw here on the network between the Pembina Valley Hawks and the Interlake Lightning, as well as the Hawks and the Eastman Selects in the MFHL U18 AAA League. And then after that, we're going to have a head coach from the MMJHL joining the show, and Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets, to talk about the season up until this point, the team's struggles this season, some things the team has been doing good, as well as the trades that this team has been making. Very active team in terms of making trades this year in the MMJHL, building more so for the future with the trades that they are making. Excited to ask Brock about that in today's episode, as well as the other things I talk about of what will be involved in that interview. And then ending off the show, in terms of the interview portion of this episode, I'm going to be sitting down with Winnipeg Avros head coach Ashley van Aggelen. Can't wait to ask her about the past weekend of games that her squad had as they went on the road to Shoal Lake against the Yellowhead Chiefs on Saturday, and also went to Hartney on Sunday and played the Westman Wildcats. And I'll also ask Ashley about their upcoming game that the team has coming up on Thursday night on the road against the Interlake Lightning, when the Avros travel to Stonewall to play them. And then ending off today's edition of Coffee with Graeme, we're going to be finishing with an edition of League Report. I'm going to be giving you guys the past scores from the past week/weekend of actions throughout leagues from the MFHL, the Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League, the MMJHL, as well as the Zone 4 Hockey League, as well as giving you guys a standings update from all 4 of those leagues, as well as the stats leaders, the goal leaders, the assist leaders, the point leaders, and the goaltending win leaders in those leagues that I talk about. That will be in this week's edition of League Report. And I will also be showing you guys the list of all the trades that have been made in the MMJHL as well in this season in League Report, coming up at the end of today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. But to start things off, it's Off the Wall with Cody Wall. Cody Wall will be joining the show after the intro of Coffee with Graeme. But before we start, just want to let you guys know to sit back, relax, grab a cup of Joe or whatever you guys need to get ready and pumped up and hyped, psyched, whatever you guys want to, whatever words you guys want to use to get ready to watch this edition of Coffee with Graeme, because it will be a good one here on ASTV Productions. It's this week's edition of Off the Wall with Cody Wall here on Coffee with Graeme. Cody, 2 games on the network this past weekend on Saturday and Sunday, both featuring the Pembina Valley Hawks. The Pembina Valley Hawks took on the Interlake Lightning on Saturday, and then they took on the Eastman Selects on Sunday. But Cody, how you doing on this Tuesday morning, man? Thanks for coming on your segment here on the show once again here on this Tuesday for another week.
Yeah, doing great on this Tuesday, the 25th here. As always, looking forward to breaking down some past weekend hockey.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Cody. And, some success that we saw from the Pembina Valley Hawks winning in both of the games that were broadcasted on the network on Saturday and Sunday. Let's throw it back to the game that they played on Saturday against the Interlake Lightning. Of course, Pembina Valley was coming into this one coming off of a 4-0 loss the night before the game was played against the Winnipeg Ice when they traveled to Winnipeg to the Bell MTS Iceplex to play that game. But Pembina Valley back at home at the Access Event Center and took care of business 3-0 over the Interlake Lightning in that game. But talking about Pembina Valley, their ability to generate the shots that they did in that game, once again out shooting Interlake in this one like they have in the previous matchups that these two teams played against each other, out shooting them this time 55-19.
Yeah, it definitely was a very good offensive output from the Hawks on Saturday. They really were activating all the players. They were really moving the puck around quite well on Saturday. I felt like they were activating the D, sending the D into pinch at the right times, and often we saw the defensemen in Quinn McLaren most notably, but also we did see Emily Foster and other defensemen like Zenith Vanstone jump up in the rush and sometimes make those key pinches that would create those offensive opportunities that kind of led to those second, third, and fourth opportunities on net against Interlake Lightning on Saturday.
Yeah, when you're able to get your whole team involved offensively, it's going to bode very well for you. And of course, like you said, Pembina Valley able to do that in this game against Interlake. Talking about the scoring, it was spread around in this game in terms of the goal scorers for Pembina Valley. Abby Bordergui, Annika Braun, and Maya Pierce scoring the goals for Pembina Valley. Talk about the performances from those three, particularly on those goals that those three scored.
Yeah, Annika Braun, was welcomed back into the lineup after I know she had missed a couple of games recently, so it was nice to see her back in the lineup there. And she really didn't miss a beat there. She was flying up and down the ice in both games this weekend, and then Annika ended up being able to pot a goal there on the Saturday affair. Really was a nice one. Kind of was, I think, a bit of a scramble in front, but was able to squeak it by Rachel Hallerson for the goal. And then the one kind of was that was the highlight of the night. Really was the play from Maya Pierce to Abby Bordeaux. I believe it was on the third goal. It was a real nice give and go. Bordeaux gave it to Pierce as she was skating behind the net, and Pierce gave it right to her as Hallerson was kind of thought Pierce was maybe going to go to the other side for a wraparound, and really caught Hallerson stretching from crease to crease on that one, and then just was a nice one-time shot from Bordeaux to finish it off.
You spoke about how they were able to activate all their players during this game, their forwards and defensive players as well, like Quinn McLaren, Emily Foster, on the offensive attack. Talk about how, did that just come down to the fact that Pembina Valley was able to keep such good control off of the good things that they were doing, maybe off of the forecheck, using that speed into, being able to have that confidence to, activate, have their defensemen, their whole team engaging as a 5-girl unit?
Yeah, they really were confident, and I think confidence was the biggest thing in that game on Saturday. It for the most part felt like the Hawks had uh, the lead in momentum throughout a majority of the game. They were able to get an early lead in the first period, but it goes more just that than the lead. It was just you could feel in the Hawks on the Hawks bench that they were confident in their matchup against the Interlake Lightning, and that was kind of what led them to maybe take a couple of more risks, maybe offensively, maybe pinching on times that you didn't necessarily always feel that you would have 100% on the play, but their foot speed really was another thing that really got them to those areas, got them to those loose pucks first, and got the defensemen to kind of jump up on those pucks that were getting run around the boards by the Interlake Lightning when they were starting to get into some defensive trouble.
Talk about this team, their defensive performance from the Hawks in that game, only allowing 19 shots against, of course, being able to get the shutout. We'll get into Kaylee Franz's performance in just a moment here, but the defensive ability from the Hawks in this game to limit this Interlake Lightning squad and the shots that they had.
Yeah, really, when they did end up getting into their own zone, often they were able to really suffocate the Interlake offense and not allow a whole lot of second and third opportunities, which are the ones that sometimes can trick a goalie, is those rebounds that sometimes aren't able to be, corralled quite as easily. But there was really none of those second and quality third chance opportunities. They just did a good job of defensively once they made it into their own zone, collapsing and kind of clogging that neutral zone.
Talk about Kaylee Franz's performance now. Of course, she wasn't overly busy, but when she had to be, obviously being on the top of her game, making 19 saves on all 19 shots that she faced for the shutout in that 3-0 victory for the Hawks. Just her performance in that game, Cody, what you really like from her to be able to get the shutout.
Yeah, she really looked confident, just like the rest of the Hawks team. And when she did face saves, uh, she just was able to do it with confidence and able to turn away every save that she saw. And I'm sure that was a real good momentum booster for Kaylee there as well. Was being able to put forward a shutout. Granted, it wasn't the normal amount of shots, but sometimes in games where you're not seeing those high quantity of shots, sometimes a goaltender can kind of get a little bit kind of get a little bit cold during a game, and that didn't seem to be the case with Kaylee. It seemed like she was able to kind of see the game, and then when she did have opportunities come her way, she was able to kind of dial it back up and make the appropriate saves and cover it up and get the appropriate whistles when her team was maybe getting hemmed in a little bit if those times did when they did kind of arise.
Going into Interlake now, Cody, on their side of things, of course. Bright spot from them, even though they did get the loss, was Rachel Halderson, the goalie that started for them in this game. Even though she let in 3 goals, she made 52 saves on 55 shots. I mean, a great performance from her. You can even say it was outstanding if you even want to go that way. But just the performance. What impressed you the most from this Interlake goaltender this past Saturday against Pembina Valley?
Yeah, Rachel Halderson definitely impressed me. Coming in with the Interlake Lightning only having that one win against the Westman Wildcats, that both goaltenders kind of have had a bit of a hard year when it comes to the win-loss record. But that didn't seem to really get Halderson down. you can see that she was battling throughout the whole game. And looking at her stats more than just the one game against the Hawks, you can see that she does face a high quantity of shots, and the quality of shots were actually quite well as well. Just able to track the puck well, and with seeing that amount of shots, really kept her engaged in the game.
Yeah, for sure. This Interlake Lightning squad, it's been well documented this year and years throughout, of this team being a team that this is a team that faces a lot of shots. My apologies, my voice almost went there. Just gotta take a sip of water and let the whistle here, Cody. But yeah, like Rachel Halderson, able to step up even though she faced that amount of shots and let in that amount of goals, 52 saves on 55 shots. Never a bad night when you're able to do that as a goaltender, even though they did get a loss. And something that could help you out was more offensive output, but obviously Interlake getting shut down in this game, getting shut out, only had 19 shots. But in those 19 shots, Cody, what you felt was the good things that Interlake was doing in terms of them getting their opportunities, creating those 19 shot opportunities that they've got on net on Kaylee Franz.
Yeah, when they were able to kind of get some pucks through to Kaylee, is maybe when they were able to get the cycle game working good, able to get it down low and maybe pull a Hawks defenseman out of position to try and create a little bit of havoc in the center, in that slot area, sending a player in there to try and get a one-timer and see if they could really trick Kaylee into letting rebound get loose, but really wasn't the case. Another kind of bright spot in their offense was Emerson McCauley. She really looked like she was trying to put the team on her back as best she could, really using her feet to get through from defensive zone to offensive zone, and really had good vision to try and make those good passes to create offense.
Yeah, and obviously Interlake, not getting the win in this one, but keeping it closer with the play of Rachel Halderson. Like you said, creating some opportunities as well, but not as many as the Hawks, of course. And the Hawks, you'd like to think that they would have wanted more goals in this game, but the play from Halderson just outstanding in this game, making those 52 saves on 55 shots faced. Moving into, the other game that we saw, talking about the Sunday game, the Pembina Valley Hawks took on the Eastman Selects. The third matchup of the year against these two teams. Eastman went up 1-0 early in this game, Cody. The first time that they've scored against Pembina Valley all season long. Number 21, Pandora Turcotte, scored that one courtesy of a mad scramble leading to that goal, as there was a big scramble in front for possession of that puck. Loose puck ended up going to Pandora for that goal. But, talk about that. Eastman being able to generate momentum like that early on and go up 1-0 in that game against Pembina Valley.
Yeah, early on when Eastman picked up that first goal of the game, you maybe thought that there was a bit of a changing of the guard there from the prior two games. But the Hawks managed to kind of dial it back in. But before I talk about how the Hawks were able to bring it back to tie it up and then quickly get a lead of their own, the Eastman really early on looked strong, looked like they were gonna change kind of the script of what had happened with some good play by players such as Pandora Turcotte, and a loose puck kind of gets loose into the slot there, and like you said, Graeme, there was mayhem in the slot, and puck slipped out to Pandora. She was able to tuck that one past Tria Ents, and really felt like for a little bit there that the Eastman Selects maybe had, conquered their beast there in the Hawks with only not registering any goals against them in the prior two meetings. Then getting that first goal kind of felt like maybe they were going to have a bit of a push, but bringing it to the Hawks, they definitely dialed it in after that goal. They really came together as a team for Tria. Really couldn't fault her on that goal because it was just a mad scramble, but just great effort by Quinn McLaren to will the team back to a lead. Scoring a goal a couple minutes after Eastman scored their goal to tie it up, and then again on the power play, Quinn McLaren just with a couple of bombs from the point.
Yeah, and that first goal for Quinn, she was able to walk in, and walk that Eastman defense before scoring that goal, and then to open up the scoring for Pembina Valley, tying that game up 1-1, and then of course on the power play, as we saw, Cody, as you mentioned, a bomb from the point from Quinn McLaren. Talk about her performance in this game. Obviously not able to complete the hat trick after she had those two goals early on, but really a player that was generating offense for her team from the back end all game long, and doing some really good things in all ends of the ice, including the defensive zone in this game.
Yeah, she really was moving her feet up and down the ice, and I think that was the biggest thing that got her to the areas that she was able to create. She on that first goal to tie it up, she was moving her feet and using her hands as well, but she used her speed to get into the offensive zone, and that put her in the right position. And then seeing her back check throughout the game too, her dedication to not just the offensive game, but like you said, the defensive game, to make sure that if she did try to pinch, to try and create a little offense, she didn't sacrifice too much defense, and she would find her way with a good hard back check to help in the defensive zone as well.
Yeah, and not only Quinn scored in this game for Pembina Valley, but of course them winning this game 5-1. Cambry Martin scored 2 goals, and Mackenzie Cooling also scored for the Hawks in this game as well. But the final shot count was 26-23 in favor of Pembina Valley. But Trey Enns, talking about her performance first off, to be able to get that win in that game, facing the amount of shots that she did. Obviously, Pembina Valley getting more of the scoring chances by just a bit with 3 more shots. But Trey Enns in this game, when she had to be, was solid.
Definitely, when Tria had to be, she was solid. Like I said before, you couldn't really fault her on the one goal that did slip by her. You really feel like she probably should have had a shutout for the way that she played, but just that mad scramble squeaked one by her, but that didn't seem to bother her too bad. You saw her after that goal. She kind of did what most goalies do sometimes when, a goal that maybe you weren't too fond of. You do the skate from board to board, and you kind of get your head right. And from that point, she really dialed it in and just went into another level and just stopped every puck that came her way.
Moving into Pembina Valley, what they were able to do by generating the chances that they did, of course, getting the advantage in the shots in this game, 26-23 at the end of the game. What you felt they were able to do to create the scoring chances that they were able to do, in terms of them being able to pot the 5 goals that they did.
One thing I think the Hawks do best is really each individual player uses their skills to their advantage. Players like Abby Bordewy, who's got she's got those good hands. She's able to find her way to deke around defenders. You got players like Jessica and Caitlin Anderson, who really just know where each other on the ice are at all times. And then, you got speedsters like Gracie Carrolls who are always able to, when there's a puck that's, could be borderline icing, she's often there to, call off the icing because of her good wheels to beat the puck down. And all those things just kind of together, I think, are what helped the Hawks to their win, was just being able to use their individual skills that they excel in as individuals to come together as a team and just kind of put it all together on Sunday.
Eastman at times in this game, Cody, were generating some turnovers for themselves and getting the puck into their possession and able to get chances, taking advantage of Pembina Valley, not quite moving the puck with the best puck management out there in that game, and that resulted in some turnovers into Eastman's possession. Talk about what you felt from Eastman, how they were able to generate their opportunities out there in this game in terms of them getting the 23 shots that they did, obviously only getting one goal, but generating some good offensive chances in this game at points.
Yeah, I felt like they were able to generate a lot of their chances off the rush a bit. They were able to, with some active sticks, break up some plays from some of the players that weren't able to maybe get those fancy moves to get around the defender as well, and then able to send it up the ice quick. Often seeing some good quality passes from the back end from Chloe Gauthier. She was often one of the key defenders that was able to send those stretch passes to her forwards, such as Janique Labossiere and some of their other players like Pandora Turcotte. To find them, she was really she was one of the staples from the back end there to create offense and get it started with her good puck movement.
Yeah, for sure. They did generate some good chances off the rush, Cody, like you said. And like I said, I feel like, I think you alluded to it, just the active sticks able to create some turnovers for themselves, being aggressive out there on Pembina Valley. And also Pembina Valley at times, I felt like mismanaged the puck a bit, but, weren't able to get burned by it too bad in this game. Of course, only allowing one goal that came in the first period. But ending off with this, both teams had their fair share of penalties in this game. Both teams got a goal on the power play. But talking about, the special teams, overall from both Pembina Valley and Eastman in this game this past Sunday.
Yeah, there was times that we thought that the Eastman power play was phenomenal. There was portions where we thought that the Hawks penalty kill was phenomenal, and they were just able to shut down the power play. Earlier on, it did feel like I would give the special teams edge to the Eastman Selects in that first and kind of into that middle of the second period. And then it seemed like after the Hawks started gaining some momentum, their special teams also gained momentum. Earlier on, there were obviously that first goal was a power play goal for the Eastman Selects. So that obviously didn't help with the record for the penalty kill for the Hawks. But yeah, the Select power play, when they were able to get that power play goal, really were able to circulate it around the offensive zone, and then were able to create that chaos that we had talked about to get that goal and get that lead. On that penalty kill, seemed like Hawks were maybe running around a little bit, but that seemed to kind of fix itself as the game went along. As the Hawks gained their momentum, their speed kind of came out a little bit more. We did see a couple opportunities from the Hawks to almost get a shorthanded attempt, and then when they were on the power play, they were able to capitalize to tie it up and then get some quality chances to gain more momentum as the game progressed.
Well, the Pembina Valley Hawks finished off their weekend strong, of course, after that first game that they had this weekend, separating themselves in this game by more points in terms of them and Eastman, where they are in the standings. Eastman fell to 7th place after the weekend. Of course, Interlake staying in last place, and the Pembina Valley Hawks still in 5th place, but moving up in their point total as a team in this weekend of games that they played this past weekend with those 2 wins that they had out of their 3 games played. Cody Wall on this week's edition of Off the Wall with Cody here on Coffee with Graeme, joining me on this Tuesday morning. As always, Cody, you take care, man. We'll see you next week here on the show, and we'll break down all the games that are going to be happening on the network coming up this weekend.
Well, thanks, Graeme. And as always, great talking with you here on Tuesday morning.
Cody Wall on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on Off the Wall with Cody, breaking down the past weekend of games between the Pembina Valley Hawks and Interlake Lightning. Of course, Pembina Valley winning that game 3-0 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, 2 days ago, the Hawks beating the Eastman Selects 5-1, both games at the Access Event Center, of course, and both games on ASTV Productions. If you guys want to check out, what happened in those games, want to watch it for yourselves in full, be sure to check them out on our YouTube and our Facebook. And I think you can check them out on our Twitter as well. But just, go to our YouTube page and our Facebook page to check those out for sure. So coming up after the commercial break, I'm going to be sitting down with Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets, to talk about some trades that the team has made this season. Also talking about the remainder of their schedule as well, the tough schedule that they got to finish off their regular season, as well as talking about where the team is sitting at right now, what the team has struggled at so far this season, as they are quite a few points out of a playoff spot right now, something that hasn't happened in a very long time, Stonewall not being in the MMJHL playoff pictures. So coming up after the break, Brock will be joining the show, Mr. Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets. But first, a commercial break here on Coffee with Graeme. Stick around for more after this commercial break. Now on this edition of Coffee with Graeme is head coach of the Stonewall Jets, Brock Couch. Brock, how you doing on this Tuesday morning? Thanks for coming on. Lots to talk about today. Let's start off by just how you doing on this Tuesday, man?
Good. Yeah, had a bright and early morning, anyways. So I have some studying to do, and thanks for having me on, Graeme.
Yeah, no worries, no problem, Brock. Always great to have you on the show here. And, talking about the team since the last time that we've talked, you guys are now out of a playoff spot. You guys sit 9th place in the league at this point, 7 points back of a playoff spot. Who holds it right now is the Charleswood Hawks and the Fort Garry Twins. 104 goals for the team this season and 154 against. Just in a place that's unfamiliar for the Stonewall Jets franchise, being out of a playoff spot this season so far. Talk about, what the struggles have come down to so far this season for you guys to fall out of a playoff spot since the last time that we've talked.
Yeah, we definitely had some struggles with. I would say it's team defense. I'm not going to put it all on the goaltenders, but we do have a younger goaltender, and they've it happens, right? They've just been having some tough games, and we don't help ourselves by giving teams some chances that are definitely preventable, right? We don't have the offensive firepower to be giving up, to be giving the team the chances that they're getting. We can't expect to win games 6-5 and stuff like that. So I would say the biggest issue has been team defense with the younger squad we got. That being said, we did have some strong veteran players that we got some return for recently, just because of the spot we got ourselves in. So the future is looking bright, and we still have a chance to scrape our way into a playoff spot. But like you said, we're chasing Charleswood, who's having some success lately, and so we just got to continue to get better, work hard in practice, and get these newer guys up to speed.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, looking at the defensive stats for you guys in terms of the goals against this season, 154 against, second most in the league in total, and most allowed per game. But you talked about it, team defense has been a huge struggle for you guys this year. Talk about the team offensively. Obviously, not the same offensive firepower as years prior. 104 goals for, which is sixth most in the league in total. But Cole Emberley has been a bright spot, a young player on this team, a rookie on this year's team, leads the team in points with 31 and in goals with 18. Talk about the one of the positives for you guys, or one of the positives in Cole Emberley, the play from him this season.
Yeah, and like if you'll notice the goals for stat, right, it's somewhere middle of the pack, but our power play is number one. Mm-hmm. Which it fell off a bit. I think we were second or third for a little bit, but then we just battled back into first for power play. So Cole especially is dangerous with his shot and his speed. So it's really nice to see a rookie do that well. I don't remember the last time we've had a rookie at the top of our scoring, our points totals. So that's nice to see for the future. I mean, I wish the best for Cole, but hopefully he wants to stay with us. And I mean, obviously we're not going to hold him back for going to Junior A in years to come. But like, I definitely think he could play in the Junior A league. But we're hoping he wants to stick around with us, because even as dangerous as he is now, he's still young and he still has lots to learn. And I think his ceiling is pretty high. So it's nice to see that. We also have a lot of 2002 players, that kind of missed that whole year of junior last year. So they kind of missed a year of development in a way. So really, I look at those guys as rookies as well. We have a pretty big crop of 02s as well. So it's just getting everybody to kind of learn all the finer points of the game, not the the stuff on the other side of the puck that kind of goes unnoticed. It goes unnoticed when it's done properly, but when you don't do it well, it's sure noticeable in what the other teams can do to you. So.
Yeah, for sure. And, you speak about that, obviously last year, with you guys having a huge crop of O2s, like you said, this season, them not getting that, that year that would have been vital for their development at this point, having the season cut way short last season. Do you feel like, maybe that's part of a reason for some of the struggles, as well as just not quite having that same experience as some of the other teams?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. The youth is a factor, I would say. Also, what this league allows us to do, allows players to do, is go to school and work and stuff like that. So we actually have, sometimes not the best attendance at practice, whether it's due to guys having school, guys working away during the week, weather, stuff like that, guys not making the drive in. And so I'm not trying to make excuses, but that's a big thing for me. Like, if you're not, if you don't have your full squad at practice learning together, if it's one guy this day and another guy the next, it's tough to learn as a team, as a group. You see guys progressing at different rates and stuff like that. Some guys that work really hard, just they the skill level isn't quite there to be a top six guy, right? And maybe a guy with the top six skill isn't putting in the work at practice or something, or he's not available sometimes, and it's just stuff like that, really. That's what I kind of chalk it up to this year. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Like you said, you don't want to make excuses, but, definitely some valid reasons.
But you're asking me to, so.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, I'm asking you the question, you're answering it, which is great. It's phenomenal. Talking about a bright spot here, Brock, best power play percentage in the league right now at 25%. And then on special teams, as much as the defensive woes has plagued this team, third best penalty kill in the league at 81.5%. Definitely something you guys got to be happy with this season, even though there has been the struggles, is just the, the success you guys have had on special teams.
Yeah, like we always kind of set a goal to have those two percentages be over 100%, right? So we're well over there. For power play, it was kind of driven by Tyler, our former captain, who we traded, as well as when he was there, Jackson Blight, who was also traded, two junior A guys that work very well together. And also, whether they were on the same unit or on a different unit, was the Hudson Chamberlain and Matthew Smith combination. So those two guys, as well, with a supporting cast of Emberly and Kyle Van Dynes and JT Toll, a 4-year defenseman who is now our new captain. And then recently, since we've lost those guys, we've kind of we had a little bit of a skid where we didn't get anything done on the power play, but we've actually been practicing fairly well now, and these new guys have stepped in, and in Nolan Weiss, he's got definitely some offensive skill on the power play, and still Cole Emberly scored a power play goal the other night. So that's definitely something that we looked at I would say halfway through, maybe a third of the way through the season, and saying, listen, like, if we can score on the power play one of three every game, providing we get a power play, that we just gotta shut teams down 5-on-5. That's all we got to worry about, and stay out of the penalty box as much as possible. obviously that didn't happen for us, but that was kind of like, hey, like, and getting guys to buy in across the board is tough for that, because not everybody plays on the power play, and guys that get out there 5-on-5, they don't just want to shut down. They want to provide offense. They want to help the team by providing offense. But I just don't, it's tough to make guys realize that if you go out there and you don't get scored on, that's almost just as good as scoring a goal. That's, because if you're out there, if we get the one power play goal and that's the only goal scored of the game, guess what? 2 points.
Yeah.
So pushing that idea is still what we're trying to do. And it's nice to have a number one power play. We've kind of held it all year too. So something to take home, hang your hat on.
Yeah.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Even though there has been the struggles this year, definitely nice to see that power play at the top of the league, as well as having a good PK, which is third best in the league in terms of percentage right now. Talking about the last 10 games, but one game in specifically, you guys have been 1-8-1 in the last 10 games. And, you guys had a win recently against the Fort Garry Twins, a team that, of course, ahead of you guys in that all-important last playoff spot, tied with the Charleswood Hawks right now. A 6-3 win for a 6-3 win, not 63. 6-3 win for you guys this past Friday. Just take me back to that game. Obviously holding a team to 3 goals like the Fort Garry Twins, being able to score 6 against them. Must have liked what the team showed out there in that game against the Twins.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see the smiles on the bench from the right from the get-go. Really, like, they scored the first goal quick, and then we didn't shut down or anything, right? It was a very organized game. We gave up very little odd man rushes, if any. I think that's been a big thing for us, is getting a little too greedy on the offensive side of things, bad pinches, or not having guys in a defensive position when we have the puck. So when there's that turnover, you're still in a good spot. So on Friday we were all over that. I think we got 2 power play goals. That always helps. In the first period, I think we got 2 power play goals. So we were going into the room 3-1 after the first period, and we've had 3-1 leads before after the first period, or even just leads in general after the first period, and then we go and we give them up in the second. So we really just talked about what we got to do to hold the lead, and I think it was good for the guys to see when you focus on defense and you work on puck management, and seeing the defensive side a lot better, and just realizing that if we don't give any up, we don't have to get any more. And then offense just started to happen for us because we were doing the little things right. So I think that was a good lesson for guys to learn, hopefully, and good things to see. I saw a little bit of it in River East on Sunday. It sucks to follow up a win with what looks like a dominating loss, but 7-4 is 7-4. We four goals should be enough to win a game, but just like I said, we've been giving up way too many quality chances for the other team.
Yeah, unfortunate you guys weren't able to follow up with another win against River East, but good to know that you guys were able to do a lot of good things right in that Fort Garry Twins game to beat them 6-3 this past Friday. Getting into the trades, you guys have been a very busy team in terms of making trades, trading away talent, of course, building more for the future here going forward. That's probably what I'm assuming the main focus behind these trades, even though you guys are losing some top players like a Matthew Smith, Jackson Blight, some other good players, as well as, looking forward into next year, into future years as well with these trades you guys have made.
Definitely. Yeah. We, with those trades, especially with Tyler Van Dynes, he didn't want to necessarily leave. He was some of the guys were telling me they went for some beers after that, his last practice, and it was kind of emotional. They were saying he didn't want to leave, but he was telling me the only way he was going to leave is if it was going to help the team for the future, and that's exactly what it did. And you can already see the potential that these new guys have. And he grew up with Jackson Blight. So with Blight, it was kind of like, hey man, do you want to try and go to a contending team and potentially help us out for the future? And it was the same thing for Jackson. So I wish those guys the best, and I had a great time coaching them, and they're both stand-up guys. With Hudson and Matthew going to the Seven Oaks Raiders, they are actually just on loan, if that makes sense. They're coming back to us next year.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so that's that kind of works out for both parties, really, right? They have a chance to maybe go on a playoff run on a team that's in a playoff spot. We'll get them back next year, and we got something in return as well. They're a pretty dynamic duo. They put up some big numbers, especially on the power play. They kind of complement each other. So I think it's a win-win for both teams, us and Seven Oaks. If you think, okay, so we got Nolan Weiss, I believe Noah Wiley. Nolan Weiss definitely came from Seven Oaks. There's a few guys that are 2004 born, so they're still playing in the U18 leagues. Jordan Gray came from Pembina Valley. Noah Wiley, I think, came from Pembina Valley. It's tough to keep track where these kids are from.
Yeah.
And then from St. James is Eric Gerda-Banyak, a young defenseman.
Yeah.
He looks very promising. Like he's got all the right tools. He's tall. He's maybe a little slight, but I mean he's 18 years old, right? But he definitely handles himself out there, and hardworking guy. And you can just kind of see, like, if we can work with him, he's got all the right pieces. And another kid, that Jeremy Klimchuk, that's who else came from Seven Oaks. He's another hardworking, physical guy. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about the new guys, and to get all that back, and also the prospects for next year and even the year after. It's if all those guys want to report to camp next year and then show up, I think it's going to be good. So I definitely commend those guys for accepting the trade. It's almost a tough thing to do. It's not like they want it out, right? It's kind of bittersweet, because it's like, oh, they actually were enjoying their time, and I enjoyed getting to know those guys, but now we got some new guys to get to know, right?
Yeah, for sure. And huge trade you guys made with Seven Oaks. I mean, a loan trade, like you said, getting some good players back next season, and they'll be able to, assuming that the Raiders Junior Hockey Club makes it to the playoffs, those guys will get good playoff experience. And it's funny that you mentioned Jeremy Klimchuk, because I actually had a chance to play against him in my last year of minor hockey. So
oh, no way.
Funny hearing that name come up for you guys, and you guys trading for him. But Last question here before I let you go, Brock. Obviously, I assume like you guys still want to stay competitive, still want to try to make a playoff push. A tough schedule for the rest of the season. No games are going to be easy moving forward here. What's going to be the focus in these remaining games? Trying to make that push for that last playoff spot and potentially sneaking into the playoff picture this season in the MM.
We're just going to push the idea of being better on the other side of the puck. Definitely not giving up as many quality chances, limiting on-man rushes, and I think if we do that, if we can hold teams to 2 or 3, goals, maybe push the idea of, hey, they get 1 goal a period. If they score 2, then they get 0 next period, right? Maybe it's that we do, right? But just getting everybody on board with what we want as a defensive system. And if all the guys do it right and it doesn't work out, that's on me. So
well, there you go. Going to be interesting to see what happens for the rest of the season, but definitely the trades you guys made, looking like you guys got some good pieces coming in for the future here with Stonewall, what you guys are trying to build and getting players back who are going to have some, playoff experience, potentially going on a run this year with that Seven Oaks trade. Best of luck to you and the team for the rest of the year, Brock. I'm sure we'll talk again in the future soon. Thanks for coming on here on Coffee with Graeme on this Tuesday morning. You take care and have a great rest of your day, Brock.
Thanks to you too, Graeme.
I always forget I mute the mic. I got to unmute it. Got to remember to do that. But Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets in the MMJHL, joining the show on this Tuesday morning to let you guys know about the trade segment of today's edition of Coffee with Graeme and League Report coming up later. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be showing you guys the trades that have been made throughout the whole season in the MMJHL, maybe highlighting some key trades that have been made, probably going into the Stonewall Jets trades the most, but we'll see. I might just show you guys the trades and, I'll link the website, the MMJHL website, in the description below as well. I'll try to remember, as I don't seem to remember doing those things very well. Always slips my mind after, and I I'm waiting too long to do it. But coming up after the commercial break, folks, I'm going to be speaking to Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros. Ashley will be joining the show to talk about the past weekend of games her team had against the Yellowhead Chiefs and the Westman Wildcats, as well as talking about the upcoming game for the team coming up this Thursday against the Interlake Lightning, as the Avros will be on the road for that game. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick around for the interview coming up with Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros, here on ASTV.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros, joining the show here on Tuesday morning. Ashley, a successful weekend for the team, playing two top teams in the league. Of course, the Yellowhead Chiefs and Westman Wildcats. You guys separating yourselves further from the Yellowhead Chiefs with that win against them this past Saturday, and we'll get into that game first off. 2-1 win over Yellowhead was your third meeting of the season between this team. Lost to them 2-0 earlier in the season, but in the second game you guys won 4-3 against them. This matchup close once again. Just take me through that game, how it went for you guys in terms of you guys getting the win this past Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, super tough opponent. Yellowhead's never easy to play against. Physicality wise, also they have a lot of grit. They never quit. They don't go away. To be honest, I thought they had a lot of really good scoring opportunities in the first period. When we first got out there, we were shaking off the bus legs a little bit. Girls weren't really ready to play. I got to give it to Yellowhead. They came out pretty strong. Although we let in shots all the way through, I thought some of our shots came from the outside, and I thought that Yellowhead did a pretty good job to get some chances from the slot and some really good scoring opportunities. And I thought our goalie, Jenna Gertson, held us in at times. Big body, challenging pucks and moving pucks well coming out of our zone. So I got to give it to Yellowhead. They definitely came gritty. I know they were out a few kids last minute due to COVID, but they had some AP step in that looked really good in their lineup.
Yeah, and you talk about the scoring opportunities they got. In total, at the end of the game, you guys ended up out shooting them 35-24, and Jenna stopped 23 of 24 shots against. When you're able to have a goaltender in net like Jenna, who's been one of the top goaltenders in the league this season, must give the rest of the team a lot of confidence when she's able to stand in and make those saves like you talked about.
Yeah, for sure. Not only was she 23 saves on 24 shots, there was a penalty shot as well. Wow. So actually, haven't seen a penalty shot in 10 years. And then we had one in each game this weekend, and she stopped them both. So the penalty shot came in the second period, I believe, on a call where our defenseman covered the puck in the crease. So Jenna came up huge. That was a huge momentum swing for us, TSN turning point. The game could have gone either way, and she was clutch in that moment and really gave us a push. And and like I said, as the game went on, we settled down, and the second and third period got a lot better. We were able to get in behind their defense a little bit more and use our speed to get in behind their D. I thought they did a good job in the first period to kind of keep us to the outside. So the first period, I saw a lot of their chances come from the middle, and then in the second period, it kind of shifted a little bit. We were doing a better job keeping them out, and then we were doing a better job getting inside the dots. And I don't know. It was tight battle. I love playing in Shoal Lake. It's an awesome rink. They got good fans. They're coached well, and it's always a battle between the two teams.
Yeah, and did that penalty shot come before the go-ahead goal for you guys in that second period?
Oh my God, I can't think straight right now. Yes, the penalty shot did, I believe, because our second goal was going. Oh, it was in the same period.
Yeah.
I can still picture the goal. Little Rankowski picked it off at the blue line. We made a change and came in 2-on-1 with Mackenzie Lazat, and she slid over to Lazat on her backhand. He went forehand just on the glove side of the goalie there on Rampton actually played. But I'm blanking out. I think it was just before. I think it was before, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a lot of hockey these days.
Yeah, a lot of hockey for sure. Of course, you guys are also ramping up in terms of getting set for a playoff run here, coming up with 5 games left in the season, moving forward here in the season after this weekend. But definitely a TSN turning point, and like you said, penalty shot that you haven't seen in a very long time. You guys get 2 of them in 2 different games this past weekend. The scoring coming from Mackenzie Lazat and Desia Mosienko in this game, 2 players that haven't had the most goals this year, but both had 6 after this weekend. Talk about just their performances in this game, being able to get those goals for you guys when it mattered the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Both girls brought a ton of speed. They were being centered by one of our affiliate players. So we had a girl out with COVID. So Chloe Minkus from the St. Mattel Vix was playing with us. So she was centering those 2, and the 3 of them worked really well. They moved the puck really well together. Offensive zone attack was great. All 3 of those kids are strong 200-foot players, so they go both ways really hard. Ken's was just coming out of protocols. So with the new Hockey Manitoba rule, after 5 days, you have to have a mask on the ice for the next 5 days. So Ken's came back after not practicing all week and had to play on Saturday in a mask. And I thought she did really well. She had her legs under her and was absolutely flying. And we all know Desia Mosenko's speed. She's probably one of the quickest players in the league. So her picking up a puck and actually going through like the Yellowheads whole team and getting in behind the D, her goal was absolutely pretty, just under the bar. And we haven't seen that out of Des in a while. So she really gained a lot of confidence this weekend, and she's back to being herself. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah, great to, have a player like that, a young player in the league, like you said, a player with speed, using that to her advantage and to getting that goal, building some good confidence up as the season goes along here. But, talking about the APs coming in, stepping up, of course, seems like you guys got, a good advantage there in terms of having APs being able to come up and fill spots in the lineup. I mean, we saw an AP come in and fill in the role of Courtney Bays earlier on this year in a game where we broadcasted it here on ASTV against Pembina Valley, just talking about how nice it is to have the reinforcements like that come in and be able to do some good things for you guys when they need to step up in the APs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, between injury and illness, this is the most APs we've ever different APs we've ever had rostered in games. We've actually used 9 different APs in games so far this year from our 3 AP teams, and we've used all 3 AP teams. So it's really nice to have the kids all get a chance. And when we're selecting these APs to come in, it's not always necessarily the Bantam's best player, but like what player will fit the role that we need them to fit. And this weekend we are looking for that centerman to play with Des and Kens, and knowing the speed of Des and Kens, who could keep up, who can think the game, like who can distribute pucks, who can headman pucks and stuff like that. But we also need a centerman that's super defensively responsible. And I thought she did a really good job with that. But yeah, no, we're super proud of our AP roster. We have probably like 16, 17 kids on there, and we're just trying to go through them all and get as many kids in as we can, just kind of show them what the AAA league is about. Because obviously when you peel back the onion, there's 700 different layers of places these kids can go play. So just trying to keep them in the league.
Yeah, right on. Well, you guys started off the weekend with a 2-1 win over the Yellowhead Chiefs. And then on Sunday, you guys played against the Westman Wildcats. Of course, this game was rescheduled for Sunday due to weather conditions canceling the game in the weekend. The third matchup you guys faced off against them in the season this past weekend. You guys have won both games before. You guys won this game again, 4-3 in OT. 2 top teams coming into the league in terms of top 3 in goals for, and the 2 top defensive teams in the league in terms of goals allowed coming into this game. A very back and forth matchup. You guys were down 3-1 after the first two periods, but then scored 2 to tie it at 3 in the third period, and of course winning it in OT. Just talk about that game. Seemed like it was a thriller. Take me through, what it was like playing Westman and being able to come out with that win in the third matchup you guys played against them this season.
Yeah, it was definitely we definitely put our rally caps on in that game. As you know, we went down 3-0. So again, I just want to say a shout out to both Hartney and Interlake, 2 awesome rinks to play in. We love coming into the small towns and always have great fans and stuff like that. So it was tough for us on the road because with COVID, we didn't have any fans. We had to have just the girl. We took just the girls on the bus. We're too worried about, anyone getting sick. So just the girls were on the bus with all their own seats and masks on. So we didn't have any parents join us on the bus. And we only had 3 fans in Yellowhead. And then one dad went home to beat the snow that was coming. So we only had 2 parents with us in Hartney. So our bus driver, Joy, she had her double bells, her blanket, her sweater and everything. So she was cheering us on. But usually in Hartney and Shoal Lake, it's a super loud rink and we love the noise, but it was tough because there was obviously spectator capacity and stuff. But I'll walk through the game quick here. So we were down 1-0 after the second period. After the first period. They got a quick goal off a face-off. Our D off the face-off, our D kind of backed up and didn't really attack the shot. And then Yanina got a piece of it, but it kind of just hit her pad and fluttered in. It was a nice draw. It was a nice goal. Down 1-0 going into the second. And then they got 2 more on us. We didn't really have our legs under us. We weren't really ourselves. We weren't playing the way we usually play. We were pretty tired from the game before, but obviously no excuses. Westman gave it to us. Honestly, we we struggled to kind of gain any sort of possession and get inside the offensive zone. Again, we're in the first period, we're kind of playing on the outside. Nora Collins was firing pucks when she could, but Glover was playing really well. Couldn't get anything by her. And then we had a couple really good chances in the first and the second, and Glover shut the door. And I guess the girls seemed to be a little bit on edge about not being able to score. It had been a while since we haven't been able to put the puck in the net. So Glover held them in and at times, but at the same time, we gave up some pretty solid scoring opportunities. We gave a D fell over. They had a breakaway. They had the whole net to score, and they hit the post. So we came up lucky there. We had a D pull a player's feet out from underneath her on a breakaway, so it was a penalty shot, and Jenna came up huge for us there. So as much as we had some good scoring chances, they also had some really good scoring chances, and I thought it was really back and forth, especially in the second and third period. In the first period, I think we actually outshot them 17-11. But like I said, that's probably where we had a couple of our best scoring chances, and we either whiffed on a backdoor play or we shot wide, or Glover made a nice save. So going in the second period, down 1-0, just same talk, stick to your guns, play within your system, don't hold your sticks tight, just do what you're doing, it'll come, right? Have faith, that kind of thing. So we went out. They got another one on us. Actually, really nice goal, east-west pass off a forward stick in front of the net and just right under the bar. Super change of direction on the puck there. So our Yanina didn't have a chance on that one. And then the third goal, I've rewatched it probably 20 times. I'm still not sure what happened. They were coming down the right side. Puck came across to the crease. Our goalie went down, piled down, and didn't cover it. Somehow, next thing you know, the puck was kind of behind her, closer to the goal line. It comes in behind her, and they tap it in. So it's 3-0 at this point, and nothing against our goaltending. I don't think we made the goaltending switch for any reason other than we needed a change. So sorry, the door is just slamming here. Just 1 second.
No worries.
Okay, so sorry about that, Graeme. But yeah, we just needed a change in momentum. So it was nothing against Janina. Obviously, we just needed a different look. And Jenna's a bigger body, and she plays the puck really well. So we made the switch about 11 minutes to go in the second period, and right away, Nora Collins scored off the face-off and made it 3-1 going into the third period. So.
Yeah, and then Nora Collins in this game. Not only did she score that one, but scored 4 goals in this game. All 4 goals for you guys. She joined the 100-point club in her career for her Winnipeg Avros career, which is outstanding for her. Just for a player like that is leading the league in goals by a wide margin at this point in the season, 9 more than the 2 others that are tied second in the league in goals at this point. Pembina Valley's Abby Bordadui and the Winnipeg Ice's Maya Eamon. For Nora to step up like this, and again, when you guys needed a comeback, needed something, Nora scoring 4 goals, how huge that was to see out of her.
Yeah, I mean, Nora was super frustrated after the Yellowhead game. Yellowhead did a really good job to shut down our top line. Like, our top line didn't have an inch in that game. So Nora was really frustrated. It's almost like she had a shadow. Every time she touched the puck, they were on her. Every time she touched the puck in Westbound, you can hear the coaches yelling, "Shoot her," right? So, other words, attack her. So she had... It was funny. She had switched sticks from her stick where she had all her points to a new one because the old one was going to break. And I was like, you got to switch back. So She switched back, and she was really, really, really pushing to get to 100 points this weekend. And she didn't get any points in the Yellowhead game. So she was pretty disappointed, and then you could see her building and being more and more dominant on the ice every time she took a shift. And you could really see that she really wanted it. And she was throwing everything at the net that she could and making good puck decisions. And then, her second goal, so her first goal was a face-off. She had the breakaway goal on a beautiful pass from Kaylin Weisner. She had the backdoor goal on a beautiful play from Kylie Johnson. Honestly, that kid is so dominant right now. She's come so far. I'm so excited to see what she does with the Bisons. She literally put her team on her back, and that's why a lot of girls on Instagram are like, asking her if her back was sore, because 4 straight goals, including the one that tied it up to go in overtime, I think was with 1:07 to go. We pulled our goalie. We were 6-on-5. The puck actually came back into our zone, and then we came back out. And again, Nora kind of found her space.
Yeah. And you know what? Great players step up. And Nora, when she had to, definitely stepped up in that game when you guys were down 3-0, scoring not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals for you guys to win. talking about it, you guys haven't had many games like this season where you guys have been down like you guys were 3-0. Able to come back is impressive, when a team hasn't faced adversity like this, like you guys have very many times this season. How huge is it to, obviously you don't want to be in this position, be in a 3-0 hole, but how huge is it to have this opportunity to have a game like this where you guys got to figure it out and be able to come back and erase a 3-0 deficit and be able to win it in overtime?
Yeah, for sure. We need this kind of thing going into the playoffs, right? So a little adversity. Honestly, the whole idea of just like never count yourself out. There was one other game we were playing Central Plains. I think we were down 2-1 going to the third. And it was like, never count yourself out. We're getting good chances. We're doing everything we can do, but we just can't get the puck. We can't put the puck in the net. And with Westman, it was the same kind of idea. Although we didn't have our best 60, we probably played about a good 40. Westman did their job, and the whole thing was just stick to your guns, keep doing what you do, and soon enough the puck will go in. And going in the third, the mindset was just like, hey, we were in this position before Central Plains. We were able to score 5 goals in the third period to come back to win. So don't count yourselves out. We've done it before. We'll do it again. And we did. And as much as Nora scored 4 beautiful goals, she'll be the first one to credit her teammates. And, the pass in overtime, Kaylin and Nora attacking 2-on-2. We were on the power play in overtime, so it was 4 against 3. We had already used Nora and Kaylin as our first unit, and then our second unit went out, and then they went back on. We just had a gut feeling, and that pass from Kaylin across to Nora on that east-west pass at top of circles, knowing that D is going to back up and screen Glover. Like, Kaylin is so smart. So, I got to give it to the whole team. Just, staying focused, fighting some adversity before the playoffs, which is what we need. And it was nice to see them put their rally caps on and really give her.
Yeah. For sure, no doubt about it. Nice for you guys to have this type of adversity and be able to come back from it and overcome it, and especially late in the season against a team like Westman. Obviously, not wanting to be in that 3-0 hole to start off, but great for you guys to come back in that game and win it 4-3. Talking about one more thing, and then we'll talk about the upcoming game. But the goaltending change, like you said, pulling Yanina after she let up 3 goals on 17 shots against. Jenna coming in and stopping all the shots that she faced, 12 saves that she made in the shots that she faced. Talking about how nice it was to see one of the top goaltenders once again coming in and doing her thing in relief of Yanina.
Yeah, it's never easy to pull a goalie. As a coach, it's as much of a mental struggle and a mental battle to pull a goalie than it is obviously the kid coming out of the net. No one wants to have to pull their goalie. No one wants a goalie to have to go through that. Yanina's been so good for us this year. She's been, she's super athletic. She moves well in the net. But like I said, we needed to give Westman a different look. They had her number that day, and we needed Jenna in there with a bigger body, just battling on pucks a little harder. And honestly, as soon as Jenna went in, they got the penalty shot. So she got tested early right away. And actually, Westman's kid made a beautiful move on her, but she shut the door, stayed calm, collected. And, so that was a huge momentum shift for us. Again, the bench was like super riled up after that. And that just gave us a little bit more energy.
Yeah, for sure. And great that, you guys were able to rely on your depth in terms of the goaltending in that game. 2 really solid goaltenders for you guys paying dividends in this game. When one was struggling, one comes in and able to get the job done along with the rest of the team. You guys play 5 more games this season before playoffs start. You guys got just naming the teams on the schedule for the rest of the season. In February, you guys play Eastman, Pembina Valley, the Westman Wildcats, and the Yellowhead Chiefs, the Eastman Selects and Pembina Valley Hawks. And the game to end off your January part of the schedule this season, you guys play the Interlake Lightning coming up in Stonewall on the road on Thursday night. Heading into that game, obviously Interlake, a team that has struggled. There's no question about that this season with only 1 win on the year, but that 1 win coming against Westman, again, a very good goaltending performance. What's going to be the mindset coming in against a team on the road in Interlake, knowing that they'll be hungry to do something like they did against Westman, potentially against you guys, and try to upset you guys coming up this Thursday?
That's exactly the mindset, Graeme. Honestly, every time we play Interlake, it's never easy for us. Both goalies between Halderson and Dorsch. Both goalies are super good. We've actually nominated them at times for goalie of the week because they've played so well against us. Our games have been close, 4-2, 3-0, right? So that is the mindset. The mindset is like, yeah, we're at the top, but everyone has your number. Everyone's coming for you. And teams like, Interlake, some of the other teams that we play that have Winnipeg kids on their roster. So Central Plains has some Winnipeg kids on their roster, Eastman, Interlake, right? They play us hard every time. And we need to expect that, right? There's no days off. And when you take shifts and days off, that's when things obviously don't go your way. So the mindset is that we treat them like everybody else. And so they should be treated like everybody else because they've got some really good players on their team. They push us hard. They don't go away. They play a solid 60 every game. They got nothing to lose. So they're coming hard and they want to prove a point. And they've got some confidence now after their big 4-0 win against Westman. So our girls need to be ready for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is a league full of upsets. It happens. And, you guys looking to improve that record coming up this Thursday and continuing to build off of the good things you've been doing all season, heading into the playoffs this season. Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros, joining Coffee with Graeme on this Tuesday morning. Ashley, I'm sure we'll talk again soon once playoff time hits, but until then, you take care.
Thanks, Graeme.
Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros, joining the show here on this Tuesday morning. Of course, the Avros taking on the Interlake Lightning on the road on Thursday night. Should be an interesting game. Can Interlake come out and pull off another big upset in this game as they did, recently against the Westman Wildcats, defeating the third place team in the league, in that game earlier on. Not a while ago, but recently, 4-0 in that game. Going to take another big performance from their goaltenders, whatever goaltender is starting, whether it's Caitlin Dorsch or Rachel Halderson in that game to have a chance to beat this highly touted, stacked Winnipeg Avros team. So coming up after the commercial break, it's going to be this week's edition of League Report. I'm going to be running you guys through the past games, the scores, the results from the past week/weekend in leagues from the MFHL, Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League, the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, as well as the MMJHL, as well as showing you guys the updated points leaders, goal leaders, assist leaders, and wins leaders throughout all those leagues. And I'll also be showing you guys, the screenshots of the trades that have happened in the MMJHL so far this year. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial break.
Welcome to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mountain Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions. Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros, joined the show most recently to talk about the past weekend of games for her team, as well as talking about the upcoming matchup for the Avros against the Interlake Lightning coming up this Thursday night this week. And speaking of the MFHL, along with three other leagues, the Saskatchewan Female U18 AAA Hockey League, the MMJHL, and the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, it's time for this episode's edition of League Report here on Coffee with Graeme. And we'll start off with the MFHL, running through the past weekend of games that happened in that league. First off, I just gotta load up the results here for you guys, and here we go. So there was only one game played on Friday night, only two games played on January 22nd, which was Saturday. And you look at it here, as mentioned in this episode previously, the Winnipeg Ice able to shut out the Pembina Valley Hawks 4-0 on home ice this past Friday. Moving into Saturday's action, the Pembina Valley Hawks winning convincingly 3-0, outshooting the Interlake Lightning in that game, as Pembina Valley was able to get the win over Interlake this past Saturday. And then the Westman Wildcats able to come out strong in their game on Saturday against the Eastman Selects, scoring 2 goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second period, and then adding 2 more in the third, giving up 1 in the third. But of course, the Westman Wildcats, too much for the Eastman Selects to handle in that one, with the 6-1 win for the third place Wildcats. Going into Sunday's action, it was a triple header. Of course, the Winnipeg Avros and Westman Wildcats had their game rescheduled, so they played on Sunday. The game rescheduled due to poor weather conditions. And the Winnipeg Avros, of course, winning that one in a thriller, 4-3 in OT. Taking a look at the other games that happened, the Central Plains Capitals with a huge win over the Winnipeg Ice, 4-1 over the Ice. Central Plains went into the Ice's home arena, the Bell MTS Iceplex, and handed them a loss. And of course, the Pembina Valley Hawks winning 5-1 over the Eastman Selects. Pembina Valley scoring 5 unanswered goals in that game after surrendering the first goal of the game in that one. Quinn McLaren, of course, with 2 goals in that one, back-to-back in the first period, and Cambry Martins with 2 goals as well, and Mackenzie Cullen with a goal as well for the Pembina Valley Hawks. 3 different goal scorers in that game. Taking a look at the updated standings in the leagues, the Winnipeg Avros separating themselves from the rest of the pack at this point. The same number of games played with the Yellowhead Chiefs. Of course, the Winnipeg Avros 5 points up on the Yellowhead Chiefs. It'll be interesting to see that race for first place. Will the Winnipeg Avros stay in first place and get that first place ranking heading into the MFHL playoffs? Of course, Yellowhead in second place, Westman in third place, the Winnipeg Ice in fourth place, the Pembina Valley Hawks in fifth place, the Central Plains Capitals jumping over the Eastman Selects in the standings, I believe. With 3 games in hand as well. I'm pretty sure they jumped over the Eastman Selects. I can't remember off the top of my head, but of course, Eastman in 7th place, and the Interlake Lightning still with 1 win on the season only, way back of the rest of the pack in the league by an 11-point spread from them in Eastman, as they are 1-18, 2 points on the season for last place. Taking a look at the leaders in the league, looking at the goal leaders in the MFHL, Nora Collins continuing her fantastic senior season, 28 goals in 21 games played, 9 more than the next most goals in the league for players. Of course, Abby Bordadui and Maya Eamon both have 19 goals on their season. Abby Bordadui with 2 games in hand on Maya in that total, so her goals per game average just a bit better, but Maya Eamon having a fantastic season nonetheless. Darby Poole for the Yellowhead Chiefs with 16 goals on the season in 23 games played at this point. She is 4th in the league in goals, as you guys can see. And then Danica Botterill and Levi Durkach, both with 12 goals each, tied for 5th in the league in goal total. Of course, as you can see, Danica Botterill having a bit of an advantage there in terms of who might end up with the most goals out of those 2 players once the season ends, as the Capitals only have 16 games played on theirs, or Danica has only played 16 games so far this season. Moving into the assist leaders, it's Kaylin Weisner of the Winnipeg Avros with 22 assists, leading the league, only 1 assist less than her games played. Maya Eamon 2nd, Hannah Raig of the Yellowhead Chiefs 3rd, and then tied for 4th in assists is Ava Bergman, and captain for the Yellowhead Chiefs, Louise Ferguson, both with 15. Taking a look at the point leaders in this league, and it's going to be interesting to see which one of these players finish with the most points in the league. Nora Collins having the advantage right now in terms of points per game average with 38 points in 21 games played. She's also got one more point, as you guys can see, over Maya Eamon, as Maya's having a great season, 37 points in 25 games played. And then Abby Bordedwy, 6 points behind of Maya Eamon for that second spot in terms of points in the league, 31 points in 23 games played. A great season for Abby Bordedwy this year so far. And just, a great season for her this season. Not so far, just in general this season. And then Hannah Raig for the Yellowhead Chiefs with 28 points in 23 games played, and Kaylin Weisner for the Winnipeg Avros with 27 points in 23 games played. Most of those points from Kaylin coming off of assists. Now, taking a look at the goaltending leaders in terms of wins in the league, Grace Glover and Jenna Gertson both tied with 11 wins on the year for most wins in the league. Of course, Jenna Gertson with 3 shutouts on the season, but one up in her is Sydney McMullen with 4 shutouts on the season. She's also 1 win behind Jenna and Grace for the tie and league lead in wins with 10 wins on the season. And then Yanina Karitonovich with 9 wins as well. She's also got a shutout. And Natalie Rampton, 1 win from tying Yanina for wins on the season with 8 on the season. All these goaltenders, of course, in the top 5 in wins, all have at least 1 shutout on their resume this year. So moving into another female hockey league now, going to be checking out what's been happening in the Saskatchewan female U18 AAA Hockey League. Taking a look at it, the past week/weekend of games, of course, on Thursday. This was reported on Thursday night's edition of Coffee with Graeme, but we'll report it again here. As you guys can see, the Prince Albert Northern Bears with a 6-2 win last Thursday over the Saskatoon Stars. The Regina Rebels traveled to Saskatoon to battle it out with the Stars, the Rebels, winning that first game of their 2-game weekend series against them, 7-1. The Prince Albert Northern Bears beating Weyburn by a score of 4-1, and Notre Dame back in action, playing against the Battleford Sharks, winning that game 5-1. And then going into Sunday's action, the Weyburn Goldwings with a huge win, a massive win over the Prince Albert Northern Bears. Stick taps to you girls for that one. 4-3 in overtime. Of course, looking at the other matchups that happened on Sunday, the Notre Dame Hounds winning by a shutout this time, a score of 4-0. And then the Saskatoon Stars with a huge win for themselves, a massive win for them, 4-0 over the Regina Rebels, shutting out the number 1 team in the Saskatchewan female U18 AAA Hockey League this season so far. So taking a look at the standings now in the league, Regina still remains as that number 1 team, 15-1-2 on the season. Of course, Notre Dame is in second place with 4 games in hand on Regina with a 13-1-1-1 record. Tied with them is the Swift Current Wildcats with a 12-7-3-0 record, but of course Swift Current has 6 games more played than the Notre Dame Hounds. And then after that, the Saskatoon Stars, 33 points on their season, 10-8-1-1 on the year. The Prince Albert Northern Bears, 7-11-1-3 on the season. In 5th place, the Battleford Sharks with a 5-16-1-1 record with that 6th place spot. And then the Weyburn Goldwings, my apologies, I think I feel a sneeze coming on. Nope, it passed. A little voice crack there too, but Weyburn, of course, still in last place, but a great boost of confidence for them being able to get a win here late in the season. 1 win, 18 losses, 1 overtime win, and 1 OT loss for them on the season, making them still the last place team in the league, but a great win for them against the Prince Albert Northern Bears in OT. Taking a look at the goal leaders in the league, of course, Alexis Petford still leads the league by quite a bit. 11 more goals than her teammate Greta Henderson. Of course, the top 2 goal leaders in the league, Jersey Watain in 3rd, Avery Barros for the Saskatoon Stars with 13, and then you guys can see here for that 5th spot in terms of most goals in the league. In terms of players in this league, Megan Hayhurst of the Regina Rebels, Sadie Keller of the Swift Current Wildcats, and Julia Key. I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, but rookie jumping up into the goal leader list with 11 goals as well. A three-way tie for fifth most goals in the league throughout these for these players throughout the league at this point in the year. But taking a look at the assist leaders now, Alexis Petford leading the league in assists, teammate Allie Gerard right behind her, Megan Hayhurst and Greta Henderson as well in the top four, all players being from the Regina Rebels. Sophia Zuck for the Prince Albert Northern Bears is tied with Greta Henderson with 16 assists on the season as well. Going into the points leaders here, and quite a few points leaders here in the, nope, that might be, sorry, folks. Let's just get back to it here. Okay, my apologies. I think it's for another league. I'm forgetting if it's the Zone 4 High School Hockey League or the MMJHL off the top of my head, but there's quite a few players tied in terms of points. But in this league, you guys can see it here. Alexis Petford still leading the pack by quite a bit, 56 points in 19 games played. And then her teammate Greta Henderson has 34 points in 19 games played. Allie Gerard behind her by 1 point, and then a bit of a drop-off after that. Megan Hayhurst of the Regina Rebels with 28 points in 20 games played. And then Jersey Watain with 25 points in 22 games played for the Swift Current Wildcats. Taking a look at the win leaders now in the league. Carly Leonard leading the league in wins this season with 10, of course. Peyton Schlamp, Chloe Sorensen, both with 8 wins each for the Regina Rebels. Michaela Christman for the Saskatoon Stars, tied in terms of wins with Regina's Schlamp and Sorensen with 8, as well as you guys can see. And then Eva Filipova and Bailey Lindsay, both with 7 wins each on the season for Notre Dame. And yeah, that's going to do for the league report for Saskatchewan, the female U18 AAA Hockey League. They're now moving into some high school hockey, and the Zone 4 High School Hockey League back to playing games now. Excited that that league is back. But yeah, taking a look at the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, you know, what's been going down in that league since they've returned to action. And you guys can see it here. The Mountain Mustangs falling to the Morden Thunder 5-4. This past Wednesday. The PCI Trojans winning 6-4 over the GVSD hockey team on this past Thursday last week. And then there was a triple header on Saturday. It's pretty cool in this league since it is a high school league, unlike the Winnipeg High School Hockey League and Winnipeg Women's High School Hockey League. The Zone 4 High School Hockey League plays games on the weekend. And in fact, as I mentioned, there was a triple header this past Saturday. The Pembina Tigers winning by a huge score of 9-1 over GVSD. The PCI Trojans winning 6-2 over the WC Miller Aces, and the Carmen Cougars winning 6-3 over the Morden Thunder. And then taking a look at the Sunday games, the PCI Trojans winning 4-2 over the Pembina Tigers, and then the Carmen Cougars winning in a close one, 4-3. Over the Mountain Mustangs. Taking a look at the standings now in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. Oh, wait, no, there was a game that was played yesterday in the league. The WC Miller Aces defeating the Morris Mavericks by a whopping score of 10-0. Of course, you can see the rest of the schedule for this week coming up. I'll tell you guys about it next episode, but you guys can see it here as well. But taking a look at the standings now in this league, the PCI Trojans are in first place, actually tied for first place with the WC Miller Aces. Both of those teams with 13 wins each, but PCI looks like they have more games in hand, and they do, just looking at the record. The Carmen Cougars are in third place in the league, I guess second, since those two teams are tied, PCI and WC, but Carman is in fact in third place. The Morden Thunder 2 points behind them. In fourth place, the Mountain Mustangs, defending champions in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, in fifth place with 19 points, 1 game back of tying the Morden Thunder, and the Pembina Tigers with 16 points on the season, 8-7 record. And then after that, there is quite a bit of a drop off. In fact, you take a look at it, just doing some mental math here, a 12-point drop off from the Pembina Tigers and the GVC Zodiacs, as the GVC Zodiacs only have 4 points on the season with a 2-8 record. The Morse Mavericks 2 points behind GVC with a 1-9 record with 2 points. And then GVSD Hockey have only played 4 games this season, but have not won any of them. And then the MPC Nighthawks, taking a look at it here, are still winless on the season, 0-12 on the year. Taking a look at the points leaders, the goal leaders, and the assist leaders in this league, starting off with the goal leaders, Tyler Vandeveld with 24 goals in 16 games played, keeping up his great season still. And yeah, I talked about in terms of how many players are tied in this league in terms of goals. Well, you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players with 15 goals in the league so far in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. Going to be interesting to see who gets the upper hand on who in these games coming up as this season wraps up in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. But yeah, quite a bit of players there tied for fifth in goals in the league. And then, of course, 2 players tied for third in the league in goals, both from the PCI Trojans. A lot of PCI Trojans players on this list. 3 WC Miller Aces players, and of course 2 Mountain Mustangs players. 2 guests here that I had the pleasure of interviewing on Coffee with Graeme, and Tyler Vandeveld, of course, leading the league in goals, and then Joel Vigier with 15 goals in 7 games played, and that was 15 goal mark at this season, along with those other players that have 15 goals. But taking a look at the assist leaders now in this league, still some players tied, but as you can see, not as much as the goal leaders in the league. But Tyler Vandeveld, this is actually the points, sorry. Tyler Vandeveld leading the league in points with 51. And then, of course, you see the tie there for fourth in the league in goals. But taking a look at the... Did I put the assist leaders in here? Yes, I did. But some more ties here, of course. Xander Burr, Joel Vigier, and Brock Wood, both with 19 assists on the season. And then you see Tyler Vandeveld here leading the league in assists with 27. Best offensive player in the league this year, no question about it, based off of the results and points that he's been producing. But taking a look at the wins leaders now, Rowan Cherkas for the PCI Trojans leading the league in wins, 8 wins, 1 loss on the season. He also has 1 overtime win. And then you see the rest of the players here. And then some more ties here with Mason Mazurat for the Carman Cougars, Dorian Penner for the WC Miller Aces, and Cole Robertson, another guest that has been on Coffee with Graeme here in 2022. All 3 of those goalies with 5 wins each on the season. Now, moving into the MMJHL now, folks, what happened in that league last week and this past weekend. Taking a look at the games that happened. Of course, pretty sure I've reported on some of these already in the last edition of League Report, but the Charleswood Hawks with a dominant 8-0 win over the Stonewall Jets last Wednesday. Of course, the Pembina Valley Twisters already talked about this game, as well as the Charleswood Hawks game. 2-1 win, Pembina Valley. The Twisters beat the St. Vital Junior Victorias. And then moving into Friday's action, there was a quadruple header. The Stonewall Jets winning 6-3. Big win for them, as they have 1 win out of their last 10 games. So that was definitely huge for them to snap their losing streak. Stonewall with a 6-3 win 6-3 win, not 63. I feel like I'm pronouncing it like that, but Stonewall with a 6-3 win over the Fort Garry Twins. The St. James Junior Canucks with a 7-4 win over the River East Royal Knights. The Charleswood Hawks losing 5-0 to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, and the St. Vital Junior Victorias with possibly their biggest win of the season so far in terms of the opponents that they beat, a 3-2 win over the Transcona Railer Express. And then taking a look at it into Sunday's action, the St. James Junior Canucks able to they didn't win, actually. The Raiders Junior Hockey Club beat them 6-3. The St. Vital Junior Victorias 10-3 win over the St. Boniface Riels, and the losing ways as of late in the last 3 games for the Transcona Railer Express continues as they lost 4-2 to the Charleswood Hawks. Interesting what's going on with Transcona right now, as they've been faltering as of late. But, with the talent on that team, no doubt that they should be back on track very soon here as playoffs are coming up very soon in that league. Them trying to build good habits, right? So the Pembina Valley Twisters winning 4-3 in a shootout over the Fort Garry Twins, and the Stonewall Jets losing, of course, 7-4 over the River East Royal Knights this past Sunday in a loaded schedule Friday and Sunday in the league. But now taking a look at the standings, of course, the St. James Junior Canucks remain as that number 1 team in the league at this point in the season. Same amount of games played with the Transcona Railer Express. Transcona not doing themselves any favors if they want to get that number 1 spot with these losses that they suffered this past week/weekend. Taking a look at the they have a 3-game losing streak. Of course, the Pembina Valley Twisters with a 3-game win streak. They're at 26-4 on the season. And the hottest team in the league right now in terms of winning streak is the Raiders Junior Hockey Club with a 15-4-1 record, 4 games in a row that they've won. Still, 8 points back of the St. Vital Junior Victorias, but, possibly going to be seeing the St. Vital Junior Victorias and Raiders Junior Hockey Club in the playoffs play. That could be a heck of a series, just that 4-5 matchup. But the River East Royal Knights in 6th place, and then Fort Garry and the Charleswood Hawks, the Fort Garry Twins and Charleswood Hawks, both tied in terms of points. Fort Garry, of course, with 4 games in hand, but both of those teams tied for 7th place right now. And of course, the Stonewall Jets and St. Boniface Riels, the teams on the outside looking in at this point in the season. Now, taking a look at the goal leaders in the league, Curtis Luke continuing his very productive season, leading the league in goals with 25 goals in 27 games played. Griffin Height, with that asterisk, he is that declares that he is a rookie. So he is a rookie in this league. He is 2nd in the league in goals for the St. James Junior Canucks with 23 goals in 28 games played. Connor Grunston still in the top of the league in goals, of course, with tied for 3rd along with Tyrone Willen and Ethan Lewis. Ethan Lewis of the Charleswood Hawks, Tyrone Willen of the St. James Junior Canucks. But Connor Grunston with 30 games played, 22 goals. Tyrone Willen, 22 goals, 31 games played. And Ethan Lewis with 22 goals in 27 games played. Taking a look at the assist leaders in the league now. And Ben Coppinger, I guess that was on the show last week, jumping into the top 3 in the league in assists with 28 assists in 30 games played. He's tied for 2nd in assists, actually, with Curtis Luke, of course. TJ Matuszewski, I think that's how you pronounce his name, but an assist per game, 30 assists in 30 games played, and then Connor Grunston, 2 assists behind Curtis Luke and Ben Coppinger with 26 assists in 30 games played. And Cam McDonald, rookie for the Charleswood Hawks, with 26 assists in 33 games played. Taking a look at the point leaders now in the MFHL. Curtis Luke still leading the league in points. He has 53 points in 27 games played. Outstanding season for him. TJ Matuszewski with 49 points in 30 games played. He's 1 point up on Connor Grunston of the Transcona Railer Expresses. Grunston has 48 points in 30 games played. Tyrone Willen with 45 points in 31 games played. And there he is, Ben Coppinger, top 5 in the league in points with 42 points in 30 games played. Now taking a look at the win leaders in this league. Noah Gilbert still leading the league in wins with 16 wins and only 3 losses. His save percentage at .906. And then the best goalie tandem in the league, as I call it, I declare that. I mean, you guys might think there might be another goalie tandem that could stack up with these guys, but I honestly don't think so. And even though they've been struggling, these numbers are still, ridiculous in my opinion. But just how good they are. Justin Powers and Dylan Arnold, 2 and 3 in the league in terms of wins. Martin Gagnon with 12 wins on the season, 905 save percentage. Miles Minor for the Fort Garry Twins with 10 wins on the season, a 921 save percentage. And then taking a look at the 2 players that are tied along with Miles Minor with 10 wins on the season, Dylan Liskey for the St. Vital Junior Victorias, only played 16 games so far, has 10 wins. Him and Ashton Hallworth, even though they have 10 wins, of course, their save percentage just a crack below the 900 save percentage mark. But 2 goaltenders that have put up wins for their teams this season. That is going to do it for League Report, for the portion of our just league updates, and something that I want to show you guys now before we end today's episode, today's edition of Coffee with Graeme, as we come up on noon here on this Tuesday. But before we do that, I'm going to show you guys all the MMJHL trades that have happened. So I might break them down in another episode, but not today. There's just too much to break down in a short amount of time, but you guys can see it here. I'll leave it up on the screen. I will say that just taking a look at it, the trades really didn't get too busy until 3 trades made in September. You take a look at it, 3 trades made in October, but it got even busier in November. As you guys can see, a pretty huge trade that happened in November on the 29th involving the Stonewall Jets and St. Vital Junior Vics. That was probably that's the biggest trade that has been shown so far, honestly, in terms of just the future considerations and stuff like that. I guess that's not the biggest trade. I thought there were more names on that list, to be honest, but we're going to get into some bigger trades here. Like, taking a look at it, a lot of players went down in that deal that the Pembina Valley Twisters made with the Stonewall Jets. Pembina Valley sending a lot of players Stonewall's way. And then, of course, the St. James Junior Canucks sending 3 players Stonewall's way as well, and in the acquisition for Jackson Blight. Of course, Blight going to a heavy contender in the league this year for a championship. So, even though he, didn't want to leave Stonewall, definitely doesn't, not too shabby going to a team like the St. James Junior Canucks, who have been on another one this season, on another level. But yeah, just looking at the trades, folks, those are the trades that have happened in the MMJHL. If you guys want me to break them down more into depth in terms of who I thought won these trades, I might be able to do that. So leave a comment down below in the comment section if you want me to do that. But yeah, might do that in a future episode, of course, not in this episode. But that's going to do for today's edition of League Report, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Always breaking down a lot of stuff, not breaking it down, but showing you guys a lot of stuff, the scores, the schedule that these teams played in, going along with the scores, the standings, the leaders in terms of points, goals, assists, and wins leaders in these leagues. Happy to have the Zone 4 High School Hockey League back into the mix on League Report as well. Another League Report will be coming to you guys on Thursday night's edition of Coffee with Graeme. As this Thursday, I'll be showing you guys the standings again, the points leaders, the goal leaders, maybe again, I'm not too sure, but mainly going to be showing you guys the upcoming schedule for these teams in these 4 leagues coming up this weekend, as that will be the last show that I do for this week on For Coffee with Graeme and on ASTV, and can't wait to be back next week, of course. But living in the present, thanks so much for tuning in to Coffee with Graeme on this Tuesday morning, everybody. I want to thank Cody Wall, the main man on Off the Wall with Cody, for coming on and breaking down the past weekend games we saw here on the network, as well as a special thanks to Brock Couch for coming on, head coach of the Stonewall Jets, and of course, the most recent guest and the final guest in today's episode, in Ashley van Aggelen, head coach of the Winnipeg Avros. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for tuning into today's episode, and to our sponsors of Coffee with Graeme, of course, and AETI, Case Financial Group, Evolve Green, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, and Toby Hockey, which I will be showing you guys Toby Hockey's commercial to end off today's episode. But Coffee with Graeme will be coming to you guys coming up on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to catch that episode on our social media page, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter as well at Amateur Sports TV, since that episode will be coming to you live, as well as checking it out on our website at astvproductions.com. And if you guys want to stay up to date with who the guest list will be for that episode, we will be dropping that on our social media pages, on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram as well at ASTV Productions on Thursday morning. Sure to have a pretty good guest lineup. I'm crossing my fingers that I do, because I want to bring you guys the very best, right? Some other things before I end off today's episode, just not to do with Coffee with Graeme, but the content that I produce here on the network. I do this segment that used to be called Player Analysis. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it to you guys before, but Player Breakdown here on the network, where I break down a player that I've had on my show, on the Prospect Show, every Monday night. That show airs at 8 p.m. Central Time, if you guys didn't know. But this week, I didn't have a chance to break down any of the players on the show, as I only had one player on the show, and he was a goalie, and I'm not going to break down a goaltender's game because I don't think it'll do the goaltender justice. But I broke down Jordan Gavin's game. He's the number 2 overall pick in the 2021 WHL draft. And yeah, had a lot of fun doing that. That segment will be dropping today separately, as it always does, on our YouTube and Facebook. So stay tuned for that once it comes out. And of course, tomorrow, Rise and Shine Manitoba show comes to you live at 10 a.m. Central Time. Going to have Harry Siemens on the show on the Farm Report, Gordy Tummelson on the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy segment, goalie coach and marketing director of the Academy. Probably going to have Lorena Mitchell on the show as well. And also going to be doing a segment of Graham's Opinion, doing part 1 with Seth Rock, talking about the NHL. Well, about the NHL as well as the Winnipeg Jets, and then anything to do in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets past games and all that good stuff. And then once Seth leaves, that edition of Graham's Opinion tomorrow on Manitoba Show, Rise and Shine. Gonna be doing a separate part where I'm gonna be giving my part 2 edition of that segment and giving you guys my reaction from divisional weekend in the NFL, as well as my predictions for the conference championships, the AFC championship and NFC championship. And I'm going to be talking about some other things probably within the NFL, maybe some CFL as well. But that's coming up tomorrow on Rise and Shine Manitoba at 10 a.m. Central Time, all across our network, live on our Facebook, our Twitter, and on our website. But until Thursday night, folks, on Coffee with Graeme, I've been your host, Graeme Forsyth, giving you the salute, signing off, talking a bunch of gibberish now because my voice is absolutely gone. But until next, I see you guys on Thursday. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday morning. Have a wonderful rest of your day, I guess. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, since Tuesday morning is pretty much done, coming up on noon here. But have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Have a wonderful hump day tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Stay safe on the roads as well if you go to drive. And until next on Thursday, everybody, in 2 days. I'll see you then. Graeme Forsyth signing off now, giving you the peace sign. See you later.